Hi everybody, FPL Witty here, back out here in the Yorkshire countryside for another of my regular FPL videos. Hope you're well. We've got a bright winter morning today and I'm out here with a few feathered friends in the background, so cracking weather for a walk. I'm recording this on Monday, the 2nd of January, so first of all, Happy New Year to you all. Hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. And I wasn't sure if I was going to manage to record a video between back-to-back game weeks 18 and 19. So game week 18 finished yesterday on Sunday, and we're straight back on with game week 19 today, Monday. So certainly very hectic at the moment, but I'm out for my walk this morning, so I thought I'd squeeze another video in. So hope you had a good game week. I'll chat about my game week a bit later. But we've got the usual sort of 15-minute slot just to have a chat about FPL, just see what some of the issues are, have a look at the game week gone and the game week ahead. So there we are. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange game week really, wasn't it? After game week 17, after the restart, was a really high scoring one, when a few people topped like the 100-point mark, didn't they really? I got 99 that week. It was a much lower scoring one this week, which is always going to happen when Salah and De Bruyne and Kane all blank. So that was a bit of a surprise. And we had Cancelo and Foden still benched again, and Cancelo not even getting on the pitch. So certainly a few ripples at the moment, like the water behind. Certainly a few ripples in the game week just gone. So. But Haaland, permanent captain Haaland, he scored again, didn't he? So he's doing what Haaland does, carrying on where he left off from before the World Cup break. But yeah, it was a bizarre week really, and with it being quite low scoring, it was a game of fine margins really, wasn't it? When we had a lot of people grabbing a few auto sub points for the likes of Andreas or Bueno or perhaps Luke Shaw. So I think those that managed a few points off the bench, probably the difference between green and red in a lot of cases this week, wasn't it? But there's some really fine margins. I mean, let's face it, that Ben White sub, I was on Ben White, he was subbed off with a potential clean sheet intact after 59 minutes and 40 seconds, was it? Another 20 seconds he would have bagged his clean sheet. And the frustrating thing, of course, is that Arsenal conceded just after. So his fellow Arsenal defenders would have lost their clean sheet and he would have got his. So that was the difference this week between a red arrow and a green arrow for me. So really fine margins. Can't get more frustrating than that, can you? So yeah, Ben White, we had Mitrovic missed a penalty, which was a big frustration for a lot of Mitrovic owners who got him in early before the double game week. We had Darwin Núñez missing more sitters than he missed the week before, so that's both amusing and frustrating, I think, at the moment. And we've got a new star of FPL now, haven't we? He's called, what is he? Wout Farce, aptly named after he put 2 goals in his own net at Anfield. What a bizarre chain of events that one was, wasn't it? So quite amusing, but feel sorry for the lad, of course. I noticed Wikipedia have got him listed as a Liverpool striker at the moment, so at least he's scoring more goals than Darwin Núñez anyway, that's for sure. But yeah, busy game week, and there were a few surprise results really. We had drop points for Tottenham, surprisingly beaten at home by Aston Villa. They were well off it, weren't they? Villa looked good. Harry Kane only really had one sniff of a goal, didn't he? Just a header, cleared off the line. Drop points from Chelsea as well, who fluffed their audition for the double game week. They were a bit disappointing at Forest. Drop points for quite a few teams really. Newcastle dropped points. They only surprisingly were held 0-0 by Leeds, and Almiron had a blank for once. Trippier still walked off with full bonus points even though he got booked, didn't he? So Trippier just looks a bit unbenchable at the moment, doesn't he? But yeah, plenty of surprise results. And Manchester City, of course, they big surprise, they dropped points against Everton. Never really saw that one coming. So De Bruyne, blank, Foden got 3 minutes. Cancelo didn't get off the bench. So strange, really, trying to get those Manchester City assets together at the moment, isn't it? But of course, what it means is that Arsenal are now 7 points clear, and they're just looking superb, really, aren't they? All their 4 main attacking assets, Martinelli, Ødegaard, who looks brilliant, Saka, and Nketiah, all 4 of them are returned for the second week running. So I think with a couple of double game weeks coming up, it looks almost essential, really, to get 2 Arsenal attackers in there, doesn't it, at the moment? So that's certainly going to make it interesting now, isn't it? Arsenal 7 points clear, and they're going to take a bit of reeling in at this rate, aren't they? But elsewhere, what did we have? We had Ivan Toney was on the score sheet again, but he was stretchered off. So not quite sure if he'll be immediately fit, but certainly when you stretch it off, it doesn't bode well for next match, does it? But he's certainly on fire if he can avoid this ban, which many expect he's going to get. But that injury might put paid to that anyway, so we shall see. So yeah, I thought it was quite an eventful game week. In terms of my game week, just before we look ahead, I had a rather disappointing one, really. After my 99 points last week, I had just 5 returners this week. I had Haaland captaincy, like most. I had Trippier, Martinelli, Darwin Núñez. So yeah, it was a bit of a disappointing one. I got Rashford, of course, and Rashford could have scored a lot more. Manchester United, once Rashford came onto the pitch, apparently he was late for a meeting, wasn't he, on match day, I think it was. So he got put on the naughty step, and he was subbed. But when he came on, it transformed the game, really, didn't it? So he could have had a second goal as well, which was disallowed. So what saved me this week was that my 3 significant rank threats, De Bruyne, Kane and Mitrovic, got just 3 points between them. So that was a real let-off. And so my rank, I scored, I think, 52 points, and my rank only went down from 114k to 136. So after the nice big green arrow the week before, I'll take that. Bit of a let-off, and I got away with it. So still not in bad shape. But yeah, we're straight on to game week 19. So it's game week 18 just finished on Sunday, and we're straight on less than 24 hours later on to game week 19, aren't we? So significant thing, of course, is it's a double game week for both Fulham and Chelsea. So the first question is, how many double game week players are you going to bring in? I've only really got Andreas, who's normally a bench player, but I think I'll probably start him this week, seeing as he's got a double, which creates a few dilemmas in midfield, of course, benching dilemmas. But I've got Andreas and I've got Kepa in goal. I did have Reece James, but he's injured, so my plan is probably to bring Mitrovic in this week. My only route to bring him in is to sell Darwin, which I don't want to do, given the chances he's getting, or Martial. And Martial's not an ideal sell at all before he plays Bournemouth, but I thought he was a bit disappointing, so I think I'll do Martial to Mitrovic will be my move this week. I think with a double game week, there's lots of potential there, and he's a very solid hold really beyond that as well, isn't he? So I'll be bringing Mitrovic in. But yeah, I mean, what to do with Chelsea assets? They, like I said, they fluffed their lines against Forest. Can't see any clean sheets, to be honest, in their double game week against Manchester City and then away at Fulham. So I think it's quite difficult to bring like Cucurella and double up on the defence. Not sure that's a great move. Mount and Havertz will be popular, but again, it's not a great double game week full stop, is it, with Manchester City in there? So you could go for one of those two perhaps, but you've got to be careful not to hinder your team going forward, haven't you, just by concentrating too much on what is not a great double game week for Chelsea. So I'll potentially just go in with 2 Fulham and Kepa, I think, at this stage, but lots of benching dilemmas for all of us this week. I might have to bench Almiron to play Andreas. It's either that or bench Rashford, which is not going to happen against Bournemouth, or bench Martinelli, which I don't think I'm going to do. Lots of benching dilemmas in defence as well, so I'll probably keep the faith with Cancelo. I think Trippier's a bit unbenchable, so I might have to bench. Depends what I do. If I roll the second transfer, I can play Ben White, but I'm not enjoying this problem of Reece James and keep kicking him along for another game week, so I'm thinking about bringing in Luke Shaw this week as a possible second transfer, which would mean having to bench Ben White. So lots of dilemmas all over. That's my second possible transfer. So yeah, lots to think about as always. Who to captain is going to be a tough one as well, isn't it? So do you go with Haaland, tried and tested? It's a tough match, isn't it, away at Chelsea, but we know what Haaland can do. Or do you go with a double game week player? I think Mitrovic is probably edging Haaland in the polls at the moment for captaincy. But what you've got to consider as well is that the effective ownership of Haaland will probably still be, maybe 150% or plus, won't it? So if you don't captain Haaland, he's going to damage your rank. So quite whether I can watch Haaland without having the armband on him, knowing he's going to damage my rank, I don't think so. So I'm probably edging towards Haaland, but I'll decide closer to the deadline. Danger with Mitrovic, of course, is that he's on 4 yellows, so if he gets booked in the first match, he misses the second one. So that smacks of Emmanuel Dennis and his double game week getting suspended and sent off in that first match, doesn't it? So tough captain choice. I think by captaining Haaland, what it does mean is that I can gain ranks on both. Mitrovic will be well below 100% effective ownership. So if I captain Haaland, I can gain rank on both. So that's probably my thoughts at the moment, but we'll see. So if you want to follow my team more closely, I'll be doing these videos once a week. I'll be back after the upcoming game week, which is quite an extended one, with the Fulham-Chelsea match being a full week after the games on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have to go a whole week then in an FA Cup wedge in between, really, before we get the Fulham-Chelsea game. But I'll be doing these videos each game week. You can follow me on Fantasy Football Geek website, where I write weekly articles, and you can follow me on Twitter at FPL Witty. So yeah, it's a lovely morning, so I think I'll get back to my walking. So I've got a busy day. I've got Barnsley versus Bolton later, so that'll be nice, and I'm just finishing time for the opening match, Brentford-Liverpool, just in time to see Haaland and Darwin and Salah. So I hope they can finish a few chances compared to the frustration of the game against Leicester. So I'll leave it there. So I wish you good luck for game week 19. I'll be back soon, so good luck for the game week, and as they say in Barnsley, I'll see it.